The sheriff says you should only call 911 about fireworks if someone is seriously hurt, if there's a fire, or if illegal firework usage is threatening you or others. Otherwise, you can report it to the non-emergency line. Willie Nelson's annual 4th of July picnic back here in Central Texas this year.
And he's performing at the Germania Insurance Amphitheater at the Circuit of the Americas. You know, last year the picnic was in Camden, New Jersey. Now it's back in the Austin area, which we love to hear. He had to cancel a show in Oklahoma recently because rain ruined some equipment and instruments. Bob Dylan, the Avett Brothers, and Asleep at the Wheel will also perform at the picnic today. Doors open at 3 p.m.
I don't know if umbrellas are allowed. We need to check that. Now, before we go, we're tackling an important question ahead of the 4th of July and your cookout. What's your favorite food to eat when you're cooking out on the 4th of July? Most common answer for people out there, probably a hot dog, maybe a hamburger. I like both. I like all of the above, hot dogs and hamburgers.
Yeah, I like both of those, but also jalapeno poppers are so delicious.
Those are good too.
Yes,
yep.
I love that.
What's your go-to?
I
You got some New Orleans cheeseburger.
New
Okay.
Orleans, I mean, Cajun food's always good, but for 4th of July, you want to keep it kind of just the classics, right?
So
yeah,
what's your cheeseburger? You a ketchup? You a
what's
mayo?
on it?
You a mustard? What are you putting on that bad boy?
Ketchup, mayo, mustard, onions. And
All of
like
it.
a little bit of sweet relish, like pickle relish on it too.
Okay.
Kind of like what you put on a hot dog.
That sounds good.
What's on your burger? Your
I
perfect
don't
July
like
4th
lettuce
burger.
on my burger.
Yeah, I
I
don't
like
either.
Really?
No, I don't know why I don't. I like a tomato. Like
Oh, tomato, yes.
I always say yellow cheese. So
Oh,
basically,
like
it's just-
American cheese, cheddar cheese.
I don't know why I always say yellow
Yeah,
cheese.
yellow cheese. Okay.
So yeah, that and some ketchup and.
Now I'm hungry.
I know, right? Sounds good. You know, out the door, a lot of us, it looks like, as they should, taking the day off of work today. A lot of green on the map. We even have seen that crash clear out that was out towards Lakeline Mall. So currently some smooth sailing, Cedar Park, Round Rock coming in from Buda right now. Some slower speeds out towards Westlake Hills. And if you're coming in from Manor, keep in mind if you're out in some of those hill country areas, Mason County, Gillespie County, heavy rain happening there. So watch out for that. You really need to take those roads slower. We do have low water crossings, closures already in place across parts of the area, and that weather is certainly going to be impacting some of the holiday travel taking place for today. Speaking of, let's take a look at that radar. Very wet conditions out across the area for the hill country. We have currently a flash flood emergency in Kerr County. That is not in the KVUE viewing area, but if you have plans to travel there to the Guadalupe River, dangerous conditions out the door.
Perfect.
Continue with us and watch free now on the KVUE Plus app everywhere you stream.
Thank you for joining us for Daybreak Plus here on KVUE Plus, streaming free on your TV. I'm Yvonne Nava.
And I'm Casey Sherman. And we're looking at kind of a just wet start to the
Yeah, you were just saying that Mason County is looking a little rough. They're still dealing with a lot of rain right now because we had like a bout, then it would stop and then it would come right back. So
no, it's just been ongoing for them for several hours. They've been waking up to some really rough conditions. Thankfully, this is a more rural spot across the KVUE viewing area, but if you do live up in Mason County, specifically for the Streeter area, that's where we currently have this ongoing flash flood warning. This goes through 7:45 this morning. I wouldn't rule out them maybe extending the time on this because they still have showers and storms that are just still rolling in. We haven't seen much movement with this cluster of storms overall, which has allowed them to pick up on these radar estimated totals now closer to 12 inches of rain. So this is a situation we are still monitoring, certainly for them. Speaking of, if you do have holiday travel plans, maybe you're planning on hitting the roads, just going a little bit south of our viewing area today, Kirk County out of our viewing area, but they are currently under a flash flood emergency with a dangerous, and as the National Weather Service has noted in their chat, potentially deadly situation shaping up across the Guadalupe River there. Heavy rain across the hill country, and notice more on the way. So we're going to continue to have to watch this very, very closely. We see light rain across the I-35 corridor, the metro area, just kind of some light showers. The heaviest of the rain likely going to stay up in the hill country today through this 4th of July. Through 1 p.m. we've got that flood watch in effect, but all of us just going to be kind of looking at a gloomy sky, on and off spotty showers. Unfortunately, the weather today is just not going to be the nicest, certainly to be outside enjoying those 4th of July outdoor festivities. Spotty showers will continue into this evening for those firework displays. We've got a stormy Saturday on tap as well. I am tracking some drier weather for the tail end of your holiday weekend. I'll have that full holiday weekend forecast and the full timing of today's rain and storms on your latest Future Tracker model coming up.
All right, sounds like a plan. Thanks so much, Casey. 7:03, Leander police now say one man has been found dead following a house fire overnight, and it happened on Hilltop Climb Drive just after 7 p.m. last night. Let's go to KVUE's Brianna Perez on the scene, still live in Leander with the very latest. So tell us more about what happened.
Yeah, Yvonne, good morning. The scene is now clear, but earlier today we did see the fire marshal leaving the home. And of course, this scene looks very different than what we saw just a couple of hours ago when law enforcement and first responders lined the street here trying to figure out what happened. Now, this all happened on Hilltop Climb Drive. Leander police say they first received reports of a dead man inside the home. And once officers arrived, they located him. Surrounding homes were evacuated for a few hours, but residents were cleared to return to their homes late last night. Now, KVUE spoke with neighbors in the area who say they heard a loud sound yesterday and they were worried about what it could have been.
We thought it was like some fireworks, and we was kind of shocked because it's raining and it was early. So yeah, thought it was not something right. Well, it's concerning because, a few months ago we had a big explosion in South Austin, so we were worried about that.
Investigators say after further investigation of the home, they determined there was no explosion, but there was a fire inside the home. Now, the cause of the fire and the cause of death for that man are still under investigation. And Leander police do say that there is no threat to the public, and they also say that they believe this is an isolated incident. And we'll be sure to keep you updated both on air and online on KVUE.com with the latest developments. Reporting live in Leander, Brianna Perez, KVUE News.
Brianna, thank you so much for that live report. Now let's go out live to downtown Austin, from Leander to Austin. Tonight, the skyline will be lit up with fireworks at the City of Austin's 4th of July celebration. Musical performances will start at 5, followed by a taco eating contest at 7:25. The Austin Symphony Orchestra will have its annual performance at 8:30, and the fireworks show starts at 9:30. Let's hope everything turns out well. Now, if you want to avoid parking, Cap Metro is offering several bus routes to Vic Mathias Shores, including routes along North Lamar, South Congress, and Burnett Road. You could ride for free after 5 p.m. Just remember, the last buses will leave around 10:30 p.m. Willie Nelson's annual 4th of July picnic is back in Central Texas. He is performing at the Germania Insurance Amphitheater at the Circuit of the Americas. And last year, the picnic was in Camden, New Jersey. Now it's back in the Austin area. He had to cancel a show in Oklahoma recently because rain ruined some equipment and instruments. Bob Dylan, the Avett Brothers, and Asleep at the Wheel will also perform at the picnic today. Doors open at 3 p.m. Well, Central Texas cities are adjusting their celebrations. Round Rock canceled its Frontier Days at Old Settlers Park, but the Independence Day Parade and fireworks are expected to go on as planned. We hope there's pockets of just breaks of rain, right? Well, Liberty Hill and Leander, they canceled their festivals last night because of all the rain. So we're going to have to wait and see how everything transpires with your different city celebration. Well, the city of Leander is taking extra measures this 4th of July to help lost pets be reunited with their owners. Crews set up a microchip self-scanning station outside the Leander Police Department. And see, the goal of this is to really reunite pets quicker and keep those pets out of the shelters. Officials say they see a 30% increase in reported lost pets during the holidays. You know, all the loud noise with the fireworks, and then they get scared and then just run off sometimes. It happens. You know, the microchip station is open at all hours of the day to scan your pet. They're saying just move the wand in an S shape to find the microchip. Officials say you should start between the shoulders where microchips are commonly placed. Edna Ellis is the Leander Animal Services Supervisor, and she says the goal is to keep pets, again, out of the shelter, so she wants to encourage people to just prepare your animals.
Having the pet indoors, if your pet is afraid, using loud music or having the TV turned on, and then making sure that your pet's microchip is current if your pet does have a microchip.
Ellis says lost animals found in Leander are transferred to the Williamson County Regional Animal Shelter in Georgetown, which she says it is already pretty full there, and they hope that this effort will relieve the intakes they see this weekend. The city is also looking to install 2 more microchip stations throughout different parts of town, and they plan to have these completed by the fall. So for a full list of all the events happening around Central Texas this week, just text the word July to the number on your screen. It's 512-459-9442, and we'll send you a link with KVUE's guide. A series of fireworks explosions has turned dangerous in parts of the country this holiday. In Northern California, 7 people are still unaccounted for after a deadly blast that sparked a wildfire. Then in other states, fireworks have destroyed homes. ABC's Allison Kosick has the story.
The porch sat about like right here.
As Americans celebrate July 4th, several dangerous fireworks mishaps across the country. Police near Knoxville say kids were shooting off bottle rockets when this home went up in flames. The fireworks landing near a propane tank.
It's material. The most important things are okay. The children.
This explosion in Southern California turning deadly. Authorities say fireworks in this garage of this Simi Valley home triggered the blast, killing at least 1 person. And outside Oakland, 2 people left in critical condition after police say illegal fireworks exploded.
The head of the family was on the floor bleeding, and there was a lot of smoke, and I saw their son crying, panicking.
And outside Sacramento, authorities are set to begin a recovery effort to find 7 people unaccounted for after this fireworks warehouse exploded on Tuesday. Sayana Ruiz says her boyfriend was working inside at the time, his first day on the job.
I'm just praying to God some way, somehow, that, that they're okay.
The 2 were expecting their first child. Junior Melendez, the father of an 11-month-old boy, also among the missing, according to his family. One expert says tougher safety protocols are needed at facilities like these, suggesting protocols used by the military to store explosives.
They were stored in bunkers underground and in limited quantities so that if an explosion happened in one, it wouldn't spread to the others, and have spacing between those locations to prevent things from spreading like it did in this case.
Allison Cossack, ABC News, New York.
Well, neighbors also told the KVUE Defenders it's not the first time a water main break has created hazards on that same central Austin street. Here's investigative reporter Jenny Lee.
So the last time you drove on this street was when?
It's been a while.
If Avery Matthews has to drive on 49th Street near Shoal Creek Boulevard,
I would probably drive on this side of the road. I know that seems a little crazy.
He avoids this part because after what happened to him,
it felt like something was sucking me in like in a vacuum.
Avery's not taking any chances.
It just sucked you in.
On the night of April 1st,
I noticed just some water in the road, and I called 311. And as I continued down the road, my truck gave way, and then this is where it actually sunk right here.
A sinkhole partially swallowed his truck. Austin Water says a water main break created the sinkhole, taking crews about a day and a half to replace a broken section of the water main and to fix damage to water valves. Water had to be shut off for 8 hours.
It was loud. It was loud.
Rosedale neighbors remember.
All of a sudden, we could hear all this water flowing into the creek.
Oh my God, it was just so much water coming out of the ground. It was an amazing amount of water.
According to Austin Water, a little more than 500,000 gallons of water were lost.
It just breaks there all the time.
Denise Ketchum says water main breaks happen so often.
We call it Old Faithful.
They have a nickname. Why do you call it Old Faithful?
Because sometimes when it breaks, it's just shooting straight up in the air like the geyser at Yellowstone.
She shared a picture of Old Faithful back in 2007. In 2016, a garbage truck got stuck in a sinkhole, just like Avery. We asked Austin Water just how many water main breaks have occurred here on 49th Street and Shoal Creek Boulevard. It turns out, since 2000, there have been 9. But the break that created a sinkhole in April caused thousands of dollars worth of damage to Avery's truck. He asked the city of Austin to pay for it. He filed a liability claim with the city. The city denied it, stating that under state law, the city of Austin and Austin Water are immune from liability in this case. The city of Austin also denied our request for an on-camera interview. Instead, spokesperson Eric Johnson sent the statement. The city reviews all claims it receives and determines how to proceed based on the individual facts in each case and the applicable law. We wanted to know how many claims the city receives. Records obtained by the KVUE Defenders show Avery's claim was one of 310 filed as of May of this year. They also show the city of Austin received hundreds of liability claims per year, more than 4,500 total since the beginning of 2020. The types of claims range from negligence to liability in auto accidents, street conditions, and property damage. The data also shows the city has denied 2,849 of them, or 63%, and paid for damages on 749 of the claims, or 16%. 77 claims have resulted in lawsuits since 2020.
Unfortunately, really are not a lot of options.
Austin attorney Roger Borgelt says sovereign immunity generally protects the government and its agencies and officials from lawsuits. But under the Texas Tort Claims Act, there is one exemption where cities are liable for property damage.
You're in an auto accident with a government employee, government vehicle. They're operating during their course of business as a government employee. The waiver means that you can sue them and receive compensation for damage to the vehicle or damage to yourself.
But what if the city knew about the issue years beforehand, like in Avery's case, where water main breaks happened in the same stretch of road 9 times in the span of 25 years? Borgelt says it doesn't matter.
It doesn't play a role precisely because the law is written the way that it is. It simply limits your ability to make a claim.
But Roger, is this fair?
It's not fair to the particular individual who was injured. I would say it's probably in some sense fair to the taxpayers so that you and I are not being saddled with paying all of these claims.
Avery disagrees.
I think that's kind of silly.
And says he wasn't the only one with damaged property. Kimberly Osborne's home is on the corner of 49th and Shoal Creek. The day of April's sinkhole.
So there was just a ton of water flowing into our garage. And
her garage flooded. She says there was so much water, she couldn't leave her home for a couple of days.
I couldn't get my car out of my garage.
If the city's not going to pay for it, what should they do?
put in the proper infrastructure so that it doesn't happen again.
According to Austin Water, there is a capital improvement project underway to replace water and wastewater lines here in the Rosedale neighborhood. But construction for that project doesn't start until late 2026.
Yes, obviously very frustrated.
All Rosedale neighbors can do now is wait and hope another water main break doesn't happen before the capital improvement project is complete.
I would just like people to take accountability for the actions at the end of the day.
For the KVUE Defenders, I'm Jenny Lee.
Well, President Donald Trump says he will sign the big, beautiful bill into law today. It passed through the House yesterday by a razor-thin margin. ABC's Perry Russum has a reaction to that bill passing.
President Trump taking a victory lap in Iowa.
And tonight, here I am. Okay, promises count.
The motion is adopted. After his big, beautiful bill passes through Congress, a major legislative win.
And in the last election, the people gave us a historic mandate to cut taxes, raise take-home pay, bring back jobs, stop the invasion, that horrible invasion.
The bill includes roughly $4 trillion in tax cuts, mostly for wealthy Americans, and there's new spending for immigration enforcement. It eliminates taxes on tips and overtime and cuts Biden-era clean energy initiatives. To pay for it all, it makes cuts to Medicaid, reducing food assistance for poor Americans. Some lawmakers angry the bill could add $3.4 trillion to the debt over the next decade, and the cuts to Medicaid could force nearly 12 million people to lose their insurance. The White House disputes those numbers. Democrats blasting the bill.
Shame on this institution if this bill passes.
Only two Republican congressmen voting no, Thomas Massie and Brian Fitzpatrick.
It wasn't beautiful enough for me to vote for it.
Trump says he will sign the bill today.
So we're signing at about 5 o'clock, and at about 5 o'clock we're going to have B-2s and F-22s and F-35s flying right over the White House.
There are concerns about what the cuts to Medicaid mean for rural hospitals. One facility in Nebraska now closing in part because of those proposed cuts. Perry Russum, ABC News, Washington.
The Congressional Budget Office says some 11.8 million Americans could lose their health insurance coverage because of the bill's steep cuts to Medicaid. Democratic Congressman Lloyd Doggett represents part of Austin and says between 1.6 and 1.7 million more Texans could become uninsured. He says it'll have a harmful impact on low-income families and rural health care providers.
All of this against the backdrop of a fiscal situation that probably means we'll keep paying higher interest rates than would otherwise be the case. And we'll see continued cutbacks in research and Medicaid, of course, being the number one source of advances for treating substance abuse, opioid abuse. Again, a loss to our community.
In a statement after the vote, Congressman Michael McCall said it will benefit hard-working families, saying, quote, the One Big Beautiful Bill delivers on their mandate by funding President Trump's border security efforts, bolstering the Department of Defense at a crucial time in history, and making permanent the largest tax cut in history, end quote. It has been 3 months since nearly 50 people were detained in an ICE raid in Hays County on Thursday. County leaders and people in the community rallied together, calling for answers. According to Texas DPS, the FBI, ICE, and other agencies, they raided a Dripping Springs home in April. They believed members of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua were inside. 49 people, including some children, were detained, but Hays County leaders and civil rights advocates say no evidence has been shown linking those arrested to crimes or to gangs. Hays County Judge Ruben Becerra says people were arrested without due process and officials still don't know who was taken or where they even are. He says raids like this spread fear and agencies need to be held accountable.
I am the first Latino county judge in our history of this county. So I have the duty to represent and defend these community members, not only because I look like them, but because I am them. That is me. I was that dishwasher. You don't have to roll the clock back too far, and I'm being hunted.
KVUE did reach out to ICE for any information regarding the dozens of people arrested in the raid. They have not yet responded. And the Austin Police Department is increasing its effort to stop mail thefts. According to Austin Police, Mail thefts jumped nearly 30% from 2022 to 2023, and this year's numbers, well, they are not slowing down. APD plans to meet with neighborhoods and offer security assessments and launch a resource webpage for victims. Meanwhile, a new Texas law signed by Governor Greg Abbott expands penalties for mail theft and makes stealing postal master keys a crime. It goes into effect on September 1st. Well, thanks again for watching Daybreak Plus. For now, we've got another quick weather and traffic update coming to you for our TV audience on KVUE, the channel, and then we'll be back here on KVUE Plus for more Daybreak Plus. Does that make
Well, good morning and happy 4th of July. A check-in on our very active radar that we still have across the hill country. We've been looking at ongoing very heavy rain up towards areas like Mason County, where we still have an ongoing flash flood warning there at the moment. They've been receiving quite a bit of rain. This continues through 7:45 a.m. though. I wouldn't be surprised if the National Weather Service extends the time on this as they continue to just track rounds and rounds of heavier rain across the area that has led to, in some spots, especially near the Streeter area, of up to around a foot of rain over the past 12 hours, with much more. You can see those thunderstorms just now beginning to budge into the western part of the county. Radar estimated totals, this is near the Streeter area, again showing potentially over a foot of rainfall in some spots that we picked up there over the past 12 hours. So we're really watching this particular area for what is, I'm sure, ongoing flooding along with the Big Bluff Creek area, the Little Bluff Creek, and watching for this developing situation. Elsewhere, and this is out of the KVUE viewing area, Kirk County currently in a flash flood emergency. Heavy rain continues across much of the hill country, Llano County out towards Gillespie County, but lighter as you travel out across the Austin area. I-35 corridor, we've just been looking at some light showers through this morning, and certainly east of that, it's going to be unfortunately just kind of a wet 4th of July for us. Flood watches continue up through the hill country through 1 p.m. today. That's where we're really going to be watching for the potential of seeing ongoing flooding issues and concerns at least through this afternoon. Fireworks for tonight, they could be wet in spots, cloudy with around a 50% chance to see these ongoing showers. Temperatures falling into the middle 70s as we head into tonight, but we should be looking at some improvements by the tail end of the holiday weekend. Tomorrow's still going to be a little bit of a wet day. Scattered storms for your Saturday, much drier by your Sunday. Next week will be a dry and hotter week ahead. We're back to 100 degrees by Thursday afternoon.
Good Friday morning to you and happy Independence Day. You're watching Daybreak Plus, streaming for free on your television. I'm Brian Mays.
And I'm Yvonne Nava.
I feel like I'm too far away.
Yeah. Do I smell or something?
I don't know what happened there. We had a Paletta man in here for Daybreak.
We did, and that's why we reconfigured the set.
That was good.
That was fun, right? Which one did you get?
I had the Orange Dream Sickle. It tasted like an Orange Julius back at the mall when you used to go hang out with your friends.
Orange Julius, yeah. I loved Orange Julius back in the day. It was kind of foamy a little bit, like frothy.
Yeah. I wonder how they did that.
I don't know. It was so good.
Good.
It is the 4th of July, as was mentioned, and one of the bigger celebrations is in downtown Austin. I'm hoping everything's still going to be...
Me too. It's a bummer. We need obviously we need the rain, but it's a bummer it's happening today.
No.
You know?
Just the timing.
But all things hopefully will be on tonight. The skyline should be lit up with fireworks as the city of Austin celebrates the 4th of July. Musical performances slated to start at 5 o'clock. Yvonne's favorite, the taco eating contest. Is at 7:25. Symphony, the Austin Symphony Orchestra, fantastic. We'll have their performance beginning at 8:30. The tubas might get a little wet, but we'll see what happens rain-wise. The fireworks set to go off, to start popping off at 9:30 tonight.
Were you ever in band?
I was a trombonist. Yeah, I was a trombonist.
Were you really?
First chair in the whole band. Yeah.
Interesting. I wasn't, but I ended up later on in life trying to play the drums.
You're a drummer, yeah.
I took a few lessons, and that was really good, and I played for a little bit.
You're a good drummer. I've heard you drum.
I don't think so.
No?
You know, if you want to avoid parking, Cap Metro is offering several bus routes to Vic Mathias Shores, including routes along North Lamar, South Congress, and Burnett Road. And you can ride for free after 5 p.m. Just remember, the last buses will leave around 10:30 p.m. You don't want to miss the bus, and then you don't have a way to get back home.
No joke. One year I was going to drive downtown to watch the fireworks, and the traffic was so bad, I just watched them through the car windshield and went back home.
Really?
The traffic was so bad I never even got out of the car. We just rolled them down. Hey, look at there, that's neat. And
Take a couple pictures. That was fun.
Turned back around, went home.
I don't mind that.
Nah.
Well, the mustard belt is up for grabs, and history is on the menu. The good old mustard belt.
The mustard belt. Today is the annual Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Competition. It's my favorite competition of the year.
He's so grossed out by it.
I think it's just the most disgusting tradition in the history of the world. The contestants weighed in yesterday ahead of the competition. It's on Coney Island in New York. Joey Chestnut, that's him. He's back. Oh, yes, I know you missed him. He's back, though. Couldn't participate last year because of sponsorship issues, but that's all history now.
We didn't burn any bridges, but yeah, and I love this event, and I was willing to keep talking, and I'm happy we figured it out.
Keep talking and keep eating. It's the hat for me, the guy interviewing with the neat hat on.
It's a cool hat, right?
Patrick Bertoletti is the guy on the right with the sunglasses. He won the championship last year, but he only ate 58 hot dogs. That's weak.
Yeah.
Chestnut has the record. He had 76 and buns, 76 hot dogs and buns in just 10 minutes. That's the record, Yvonne.
It's all in good fun, though, right? That's what I like about it.
It's just, I don't understand it. Competitive eating, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
So we have a question. This is a discussion here. What is the eating competition that you would dominate? And how many or how much could you eat?
Buttered tortillas from H-E-B. I could take down at least 50 or 60 of those in just one sitting. Yeah, but
normally I don't think I could do that well with something. However, the thin crust Domino pizza, I could eat. I guess because it's so thin, I can just eat it all. It's so delicious.
Those are good too. The competitive eating thing, it's so gross.
It is kind of gross.
You know, just watching, it's gluttonous.
There we go.
Just watching someone eat to me is not that great. But watch someone force feed themselves after dipping the bread in water.
So gross.
And sogging it up. And then I just can't do it. I don't watch it. I've literally never.
You don't watch it.
I mean, I've flipped past and gone, oh, that's gross, and then turned I've never watched it.
I can't look away. I don't know why. I just think it's so interesting. And also, I'm just thinking, like, how does their stomach like expand like that? It reminds me of a python, right? Have you ever seen the way when they're eating that snake?
Yeah.
And then you can even see the outline of the mouse. You know what I mean? I find that so bizarre.
Yeah, it's just all around gross. I don't understand why people think it's fun to watch that. I guess it's the uniqueness. It's like the old shows back in the days where you'd go see the reptilian man or the six-legged dog or whatever. It's like the curiosity to see if this guy's going to just throw up all over everybody.
How do you think a six-legged dog runs?
One leg at a time. He's pretty fast. Have you ever seen the six-legged dog? I'm telling you, peeing everywhere too. Whoa, you wouldn't believe. They took us to the break on that one. Can you see any six-legged dogs in your past?
No. However, we do have the rain coming down like cats and dogs this morning out across the hill country. A dangerous situation out across Kirk County, Kerrville. The Guadalupe River has now reached and crested at major flood stage. I've seen some images just scrolling through online of what is likely catastrophic damage in those parts. Of course, that's just out of the KVUE viewing area. I know today that was a big day for travel. If you're traveling down through Kirk County near the Kerrville area or even farther north into areas like Brady, that's where we're also seeing some reports of water rescues from homes. So dangerous situation kind of unfolding across much of these areas west of I-35. Hill country, at least in the KVUE viewing area, has been our focus for the heaviest of the rain this morning. Flash flood warning through 7:45 for Mason County. That's for the northern corner. That is where they have been pummeled with rain out across the Streeter area, and the rain is still coming down. It's still looking at radar estimated totals of over a foot in spots. So we're really going to have to monitor the situation. This is a more rural part of our viewing area. However, still the Big Bluff River Creek there, Little Bluff River Creek as well. So those are things that we'll be monitoring with this potential to see some very, very heavy rain on top of what we've already seen. Again, if you're traveling up through the Brady area, we've already had reports of water rescues where a couple of feet have fallen in some spots, at least for some of those areas. We also have continued to see some showers of storms heavy out through the Fredericksburg area, Gillespie County, where that rain continues to fall. We've seen some low water crossings kind of close in some of those areas, and that's where they have that flash flood emergency down through the Kerrville area along the Guadalupe River. Farther off to the east, across the Austin area, most of us actually not too bad. A couple light showers, drier the farther east you go. That flood watch today, and the focus for the heaviest of the rain is going to be to the west of I-35. A wet 4th of July, unfortunately, cloudy on and off showers through the day. If you have outdoor plans, take them inside. As far as those firework displays go, we will continue with some on and off showers through the overnight time frame and into this evening. So not going to be the nicest forecast for us as we look ahead. I'll save that 70 forecast for a little bit later, and I will have more, including your full future tracker model with the rain coming up.
All right, something to pay attention to for sure. We need the rain again, but it's kind of a bummer if it messes up
the timing, right?
The timing, yep, that's for sure. All right, moving right along here on Daybreak Plus. Uncle Sam has been really the personification of the United States federal government since the 1800s. But did you know that Uncle Sam is based on a real person?
I really didn't.
I didn't either.
I thought it was all fictional.
Me too.
So ABC's Danny New introduces us to our national mascot's oldest living descendant.
As we celebrate July 4th this weekend, let's take a look at perhaps the most pervasive character in United States history, Uncle Sam. Did you know this icon was inspired by a real person?
We knew for a long time that we were direct descendants.
Helen Painter of Conway, Arkansas, has known about Uncle Sam almost her whole life, and you're looking at why. This is a letter that her great-great-grandmother left to her grandmother saying, quote, "If you ever have any little boys and girls of your own, you must tell them."
We did not tell people because they didn't know that Uncle Sam was a real person.
So the story goes, Uncle Sam was the nickname of a beloved meat packer in Troy, New York named Sam Wilson, born in 1766. His journey to becoming the face of the United States government is a long story, but it has to do with barrels of meat being labeled with U.S. and people in Troy joking this stood for Uncle Sam.
And from that time, the legend was born.
But this connection got a little more certified in 2015 when the person you just saw, Roy Mondell, reached out to the family.
We like to examine historical events in a slightly different way.
He works for the online genealogy platform MyHeritage, which had used its vast network of historical documents to confirm Uncle Sam's existence and then find his descendants as a little passion project.
I'm just very grateful due to myheritage.com that we are finally able to document all this.
Suddenly, these findings led to a bit of press for Helen's family, and soon she was being invited to attend and speak at celebrations of Sam Wilson in Troy, New York. And every Independence Day, Helen says she thinks about her great-great-great-great-grandfather, and specifically the patriotism he's inspired going all the way back to America's forefathers.
I think that still has meaning today.
And I want to give a special shout out to Helen's son, Trey, who has served in the Navy for almost 30 years. He's currently overseas, but when he's stateside, Helen says Trey keeps a poster of Uncle Sam on his office wall. In New York, for ABC News, I'm Danny New.
That's cool.
All right, so when you hear the word patriotism, what do you symbolize, or what do you think of? Do you think of symbols? Do you think of, I don't know, like, do you hear a certain song? Like, what is it?
Patriotism, to me, it's the flag. When you think of the flag, you know, and it's sad because sometimes you feel these days, people have used the flag as kind of a weapon. My side versus your side. My side is more patriotic than your side, but to me, that's the 4th of July. I mean, we're all in this same boat, so to speak. You know, the flag to me is the...
What I always, when I think of patriotism, I think of that song, Proud to be an American, that song.
Lee Greenwood.
There we go,
Is that
song.
the one? No, is that the one? Yeah, Lee Greenwood.
Yeah.
You want me to sing a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
I can't. I forgot the microphone.
I just have one on my shirt. It's okay.
It's fun, though. July 4th is a fun holiday to kind of remember that our country is so young. You just got back from a trip overseas. When you see the history, thousands of years, hundreds and hundreds of years, and we've been here for, what, 250 years?
It is
it's
quite
kind of weird to think about.
Saw some buildings, and I was like, well, when was this building built? And it was like, way.
The 1300s.
It pretty much was. One they said, I think they said 1365 or something.
Isn't that crazy?
My kids' eyes just, you know, I mean,
yeah. So we gotta be proud of what we've got here. We've got something good here. We've got to be proud.
But also, in order to be proud, though, we also need to be kind to one another, no matter what.
It's a great point.
Right? Diversity is wonderful, and I think we should all just we're all one big melting pot. That's what America's about.
And I think importantly, it's also okay to know that there have been mistakes made along the way, and we can make right some of those mistakes. I think that's what patriotism is all about.
There we go.
There you go. This TED Talk brought to you by
Brad and Yvonne.
All right, let's talk sports now, something a little lighter. The biggest question, Yvonne, the biggest focus headed into this Longhorn football season is going to be the quarterback. You've heard of him. Arch Manning is his name. He's going to be the starter. How he performs this year is going to be the focus of a lot of people this year. As the Horns, they open the season on August the 30th on the road at Ohio State.
We know his grandfather, Archie, and uncles Peyton and Eli played in the NFL. So KVUE sports reporter Corey Mose finds out just a little bit more about Arch.
You could play with any Longhorn legend. Who would it be?
Longhorn. I wanted to play with Bijan. I saw him during recruiting. He was so explosive, and it would have been fun to play with him.
Yeah, it would have been electric. Pre-game playlist. Who you listening to?
I don't use earphones or headphones, whatever they're called, and I don't wear sunglasses on the walk. My dad didn't want me to, so I just listen to the music in the stadium.
$2 a.m. Can't go to sleep. You want to throw the ball. Who you calling?
2 a.m. Can't go to sleep. Who am I calling? I'm gonna call Wingo and DeAndre Moore. Yeah.
They gonna be up?
Yeah, they might be up.
Last one for you. Outside of your family, who do you watch film-wise? What quarterback do you want to try to model your game after?
I'm watching a lot of Josh Allen and Joe Burrow right now. Those are my guys. So, because they're dogs. You know, I'm watching some of their college film right now. Just good players, elite competitors, and fun to watch.
Oh boy. He's got pressure. Can you imagine that guy's and I don't know, he's grown up in a family. You know, they've had the focus on them since he was a baby, but that's a lot lot of pressure on a young man.
But I think that family is used to that pressure. It's kind of like in their blood. I was telling Brian in the break or during the story, that when I moved to Knoxville, Tennessee, and I was working there, I learned quickly about the Mannings.
Yeah.
You know, Manning Way and the Vols and this and that. And I mean, they're just a dynasty in a sense, you know?
Absolutely. That family. And there's not any scandals. There's not any, things that are bad about what they've done. They've just competed and they've won everywhere they've been. Their dad started it off. Great competitor. Wow. Then the sons, obviously all three of the sons were great athletes. Arch's dad was the one that didn't play in the NFL because he had some injury issues, Cooper Manning. But Arch is now the guy that's kind of carrying on that name. Not only that, but he's also at one of the most recognizable schools in the country. They're going to be number 1, 2, or 3 when the season begins, and everybody has these expectations. So can he win a championship? Do you think they're going to be, I think it's in Miami, in January next year for the championship. They're going to be playing for it.
I definitely think that he can.
Me too.
And I love when he said, when they asked about him sitting on the bench, and they said, he's sitting on the bench, he wasn't playing, but he said, oh, no. I learned a lot. And it's true. Sometimes if you want to learn a lot, you just got to listen and you just got to watch and see what takes place there. And then you can learn so much just by kind of being present. And he just soaked it all in. Sure. I mean, that's kind of invaluable. A lot of people don't get that opportunity. They just kind of put you out there.
Because you want to be the star. These people, me, everybody wants to kind of be the focus of the attention and have all the praise and all the trophies. And he didn't really mind. Maybe in the back of his mind, he minded a little bit, but he didn't really come off that way.
No, he was like, let me learn, let me get ready, let me get situated for that inevitable championship. Let's just manifest it.
I'm ready. It's what, 57 days until the opener? Bring it on.
So we agree on a lot of things.
We do, most things.
I would say like 90% of things, but do you like roller coasters? I say, no way, Jose. He loves roller coasters.
I've got a list of my top 15. We've traveled all over the country. My whole family, we love riding them. I love it. Cedar Point, matter of fact, is one of the best spots,
Cedar Point's newest roller coaster, Siren's Curse. I mean, first of all, that's the name scares me. But it's off to a thrilling but bumpy start, apparently.
You might say it's cursed. Since opening last weekend, the ride has experienced a couple of brief shutdowns. Now, they're just not any shutdown. Watch what happens in one incident. The roller coaster's cars were stuck at a 90-degree tilt. That's the thing. See what happens here? The entire train is tilted and then released. It goes down the track. So guests had to be escorted off of the ride because it got stuck at that 90-degree angle. Park officials say the ride safety system worked. It worked out just like it was supposed to, and the ride is back up and running. But it had to be a little unnerving for those, 30 or so people on board the train when it got stuck like that.
I mean, the worst place to get stuck.
You're sitting like,
no.
literally 6
how long
stories
ago?
up.
At least you're not upside down. Though,
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
That's
but how
true.
long were they kind of just dangling?
It was several minutes, and 8 minutes in that position probably felt like hours.
Yeah.
But it was several minutes.
I do.
You
like roller
do?
coasters, but that is a definite fear is when they just kind of break down mid, twist or turn, and it's not what you want to be in.
No, I mean, it kind of reminds me a little bit of the weather. It's like you never can gauge. Earlier this week, it looked like things were going to be okay, and then things kind of change on a dime.
And, unfortunately, this is a pretty serious situation now developing down in the Kerrville area. We have seen catastrophic flooding there along the Guadalupe River through this morning. So that it's out of our viewing area, just south of the KVUE viewing area. But if you have plans to travel there, maybe for family and friends later today for 4th of July festivities, big time flooding occurring there, along with just to the north of us, where we also have this flash flood emergency out across parts of San Angelo. There is the flash flood emergency, catastrophic across the Guadalupe River in the county of Kerr near Kerrville. I've been tracking some of those social media images. They have had water rescues, some people standing on rooftops there. Very serious situation shaping up for our friends just to the south of us and just to the north of us. We also have a flash flood emergency. This is for the Tom Green County, San Angelo area, where they also are dealing with quite a bit of water. We've already had some reports of water rescues also out through the Brady area. It's really been the hill country that has been picking up on quite a bit of rain with much more on the way. I'm trying to take you back to this radar. Oh, this was our flash flood warning. Looks like it's no longer in place. Has since dropped off across the Mason County area. We'll have to see if the National Weather Service maybe is in the process of reissuing this, because look at the kind of rainfall that they have seen just over the past 12 hours. So this is since about 7 p.m. last night. They've picked up in some spots about 14 inches of rain out across the hill country. Right now, we have not seen any reports of big time flooding there. This is a more rural area though, so it's kind of harder to get some of those reports in. We've got the Big Bluff Creek there, the Little Bluff Creek there. So this is a situation that we will be watching very closely. Of course, with more rainfall on the way, that flood threat is going to continue to increase. Notice still more rain falling in that same exact spot. It's been relentless here. Heavy downpours, lightning as well, and we've got much more rain upstream. So this is going to be still a prolonged event that I think is going to be happening for at least another couple hours out towards that area. We've also seen reports of some low water crossings flooded out across and just west of Fredericksburg. Heavy rain there at the moment too, coming on down and very steady. Llano up towards Burnett and also Blanco still looking at quite a bit of rain filling back in. Traveling eastward though, the I-35 corridor, we really haven't seen too much. Everything's been fairly light. I really think today the focus for the heaviest of the rain is going to be up towards the hill country. That's where you can see those radar estimated totals, highest ranging anywhere from 5 to even up to 14 inches of rain over the past 12 hours. That, of course, is where the National Weather Service has issued a flood watch through 1 p.m. today. So hill country, beware. I know today for the 4th of July, it's a big day to be celebrating outside. It's not a day to be outside, certainly, but just stay off the roadways as well and make sure you have a way of getting those alerts. And remember, when you see standing water on the roads, turn around, don't drown. Elsewhere, we're going to be looking at just kind of a nasty day. Lake Travis, a typical, very popular spot for the 4th of July. Not going to be looking very nice today. This is how it's going to look through the good majority of the day. Cloudy, light showers passing through from time to time. Temperatures right now in the middle 70s. Unfortunately, I would say for those outdoor festivities, try to take them inside if you can. On and off showers throughout the day today. I think even through this afternoon and even for those firework displays, we'll still be looking at some passing showers across the area with more showers and storms set to develop for tomorrow. So that flood risk is still going to hold with us even as we head into your Saturday, as I have bumped up those rain chances for tomorrow as well. Tonight's firework display is going to be a little bit wet in spots. It'll be coupled with some dry time, but we will have the occasional passing shower. These numbers, of course, take with a big grain of salt. They're not exact in any location, but just goes to show you some areas picking up maybe 1/4 of an inch. Other areas, as we've seen up towards the hill country, could be exceeding 6 inches of rain. We've seen already over 1 foot in Mason County. Temperatures today, 70s and low 80s. As we head into tomorrow, still sticking with the 80s. I do think we'll be warming up and drying things out pretty quickly on Sunday. Sunday is the day to be outside. As we take a look at your 7-day forecast, we continue with at least the drier weather as we head into next week, drying up and heating things up. We're back to 100 degrees by Thursday.
All right, it was a prehistoric stampede in Washington State.
And T-Rex is away, and they come flying down the stretch in the championship.
This is so cute. More than 300 people in inflatable T-Rex costumes thundered down the track for the annual T-Rex World Championship races. The quirky event, which began in 2017 as a pest control company's team building stunt, has since become a crowd favorite. This year's highlights include 3 skydiving dinosaurs that parachuted onto the field before joining the fun. And Houston's Andrew Stuber took home the title of Top T-Rex. The full event will air on ESPN2 later this summer.
That's pretty funny. I like that. You ever put one of those inflatable costumes like that on before?
I haven't, but I don't know about you, but my kid was so into dinosaurs. We went to almost every dinosaur park.
He still knows all of them too, right? Didn't he know all the names?
He knew all the names. My favorite is the Ankylosaurus.
What is an Ankylosaurus?
Yeah, it has like a long tail that almost has and it would bang like its tail, and it almost looks like it has like a.
Okay, you're like a little dinosaur expert.
Like little, I don't know, like a spike on its tail.
Ball, yeah.
It was very interesting.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but the only thing with I feel like I have T-Rex arms. So like when we're like, let's take a picture.
You're like, I feel like I relate. So I know so much.
Let's take a picture. I'm like, no, my arms aren't long enough for the selfie. You know what I mean?
It's hard,
Right?
Yeah.
It's skill. It's a skill. Selfie taking is a skill. It really is.
What's your favorite dino?
I don't really know much about Velociraptor.
There we go. That's a good one.
Yeah,
That's a
and
good
land
one.
and the air.
Really fast ones that like all travel in packs.
Yeah, I know what you know about Birkins. So do I.
Yeah. More about that.
Yeah, so the original Hermes Birkin bag is headed to auction. Created nearly 40 years ago after a chance encounter between Jane Birkin and Hermes CEO Jean-Louis Dumas. The iconic black leather handbag will lead Sotheby's fashion icon sale in Paris on July 10th, branded with Birkin's initials and famously worn, not shelved. This is a one-of-a-kind piece that's expected to turn heads and possibly set records. Sotheby's won't say just how much it's estimated to sell for, but a regular Birkin is tens of thousands of dollars. So I can only imagine this one.
The original, yeah. It's
three
crazy
I
though
have.
how people actually spend that much money just on a purse. Can you imagine?
So much. And I remember when they have these expensive Birkins, I want to say Walmart had a dupe.
Yeah, I remember
and everybody was running to Walmart.
Yeah, and then other people were like getting upset about it.
Yeah.
It looked so good.
I'm all about the dupe. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't
make it work. It does. I don't need the name brand anything.
What's the point of having a purse if you've got no money to put in it?
Oh, that's a good one.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Might as well have a cheap purse and lots of money in it
That's
than an
true.
expensive purse and no money in it.
There we go.
That's my rule.
So before we go to our next cut-in, here are 3 things to know this morning.
That's right. Leander police now say a man was dead, killed in a house fire overnight. Happened on Hilltop Climb Drive just after 7 o'clock. Originally, this was reported as an explosion in the neighborhood. In fact, nearby homes were evacuated as a precaution there. Leander police first received reports of the man that was dead inside the home, and later police said there was no explosion, but a fire there at the home. The man's cause of death and the fire, both still under investigation this morning.
A part of Hamilton Pool is back open. Travis County Park shut down the pool for weeks because of rain and high bacteria. According to its website, people are allowed to swim again from the beach. Part of the pool is blocked off because of falling rocks. That can be dangerous. You do need a reservation to swim, and you can make reservations online. I've still never made it out to Hamilton Pool.
It's a beautiful place, beautiful place. Okay, there are 4th of July celebrations scheduled today. TBD on some of those. For a full list of all the events happening around Central Texas, you can text the word July to the number on your screen, 459-9442, and we will send you our most up-to-date link with a KVUE guide right to your